All right, let's talk about where Brock Purdy was clutch on Sunday. Went back and watched some of the game because we talked about Brock on the Sunday night podcast, and you can go watch that now. And one of the things we talked about was grading. C minus was John's grade, C plus was my grade because they won the game, but it wasn't his best game. Some off target throws, missed the big throws. But what we didn't talk about was how clutch he was. And he was really clutch, like really clutch. So let's first hear what Kyle Shanahan said about the missed throws, the wide open throw to Brandon Ayuk, the downfield throw to Debo, and even we agreed, let's take the Jennings throw out of it. But here was Kyle Shanahan after the game.
I thought they were all tough ones. I think that the Ayuk one was probably his toughest one because it was just his number one read and it just sailed a little bit. The one with Debo, he went all the way across the board in a really tough read, and you'd love him to hit it, but he did miss it. And the one to Jennings, that one didn't bother me much. We were a little surprised the ball was going there and everyone else was covered. And he just tried to make a play, but the main thing he did today was protect the ball. Besides those three misses, which none of them were easy, but he took care of the football, didn't give them a chance to touch it, and when he was under duress, he was smart.
All right, he didn't just protect the ball. He made plays in critical spots. The 2-minute drill was not a 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. And I want to take you back to that to look at where he was really clutch, because I was watching what Debo Samuel said after the game, and this is what made me go back and look at it. Now, it might be a little quiet here, but I'll tell you what Debo says.
After walkthroughs, as far as like the 2-minute drill and the plays and the time management, and I think Brock do a real good job with that, and Kyle do a real good job of putting us in good position.
So you're saying after walkthroughs, we practice 2-minute drill, and Brock does a great job of it, and Kyle does a good job of putting us in position. But it wasn't a 2-minute drill. It was a minute 45, and no timeouts, starting at their own 25-yard line. And there were a couple really key moments. To go back to what Debo said, he was talking about the operation. Well, here's the operation. The first two throws don't seem that difficult. The first throw, definitely, of that 2-minute drill was they started their own 25, a minute 45. Quick throw out to the right to Debo, and Debo runs for 20 yards, right? 23 yards, gets him almost to midfield. The second play of that drive, remember, no timeout. Second play of the drive was the play where McCaffrey comes deep in motion behind. They snap the ball. It's not his first read. Free rusher off the right, and he throws a bullet over to McCaffrey, who gains 8 yards. And Mark Sanchez says, really good job by Purdy, with a guy coming unblocked into his face, and he's still able to keep a solid base and just get rid of the football. And that's the theme here with Brock. The thing with Brock is, he missed the deep throws, and that's why we downgraded him yesterday in our post-game grades. But the deep throws, while they're home runs, and they're definitely home runs, at this point, what's more important and what's harder to find is a quarterback that keeps his cool, understands the offense, stands in and delivers the ball on target against pressure and stress, than a quarterback that is an accurate deep thrower. I think the first one is harder to find than the second one. I think we could find way more guys in college that you could snap them the ball, protect them, give them an open receiver, and they could hit it, that could stand in against pressure in a 2-minute offense without a timeout and with nowhere to hide and consistently make plays. Now, do you want to hit, if you're a starting NFL quarterback, if you're going to be a top 15 quarterback, do you have to hit the big throws? Yeah, of course you do. But I think if you're going to be a top 15 quarterback, you got no shot of being that if you can't step in and do some of the stuff that Brock did. And you got no shot. You have no shot of winning if your quarterback can't handle the stress, the pressure, the heat, all that stuff. And that's where Brock really thrives. All right. So let's go through this. This play. Before we get to this play, there's something really key that doesn't really show up on the film. Oh, I mean, it does if you have the clock. So after the swing pass to McCaffrey, 8 yards, there's a minute and 2 seconds after that play. They run a McCaffrey run up the middle to pick up the first down. They snap the ball at 43 seconds after that. So from the moment he snaps, hands to McCaffrey, gets a first down, calls in the new play, sets everybody up, snaps the ball again, only 19 seconds elapse. They did that in 19 seconds. And that what happens 19 seconds later when he snaps the ball with 43 seconds is this play. Here comes the free rusher again, untouched, unblocked, right in his face. Brock slides to his left, To the left of this screen here, is this is going to be the throw to Jennings, which is a great catch by Jennings. I mean, God, Jennings is just, you can ignore Jennings for a game and a half, and then he makes a huge play. I think I said on the podcast his first catch came in the fourth quarter, but his first catch came right here in the second quarter. So here comes the rusher. I don't have my JT drawer, but I'm swinging my mouse around. Here comes the rusher, and with the guy in his face, you can see Sanchez drew this arrow. This ball over the linebacker. And one thing, the point Sanchez made that was really interesting was he said he knew that he had to throw this ball before Jennings was looking. And so he took a little something off it, not just to layer it in, but so that when Jennings turned, the ball wouldn't be on him too quickly. Maybe his arm strength plays to just being able to lay that in, right? So he just lays it in. Jennings turns, actually has to get a little bit behind him, but he catches. It's a gorgeous play. What does Sanchez say? Sanchez says, most guys who've played in the league for 10 years can't slide, take it off, throw it, and kind of turn their body to protect themselves from the hit, which is what Brock does all at once. So he's aware of the rusher, but he's not distracted by the rusher. You hear guys say like, oh, how do you not see the rush? You want to not see the rush. He sees it, but he's able to process, here comes this guy, and I'm going to make this play. Again, do you want him to hit Ayuk when it's the first read? Hell yeah. The Debo throw, as Kyle explained, was actually a little tougher because it wasn't his first, second, may not even been his third read. Maybe it was. The Jennings throw that he missed previously, Kyle said, I didn't think he was going to throw that. So that was Brock trying to make a play. That's why I say I think Brock plays beyond, like Robert Griffin III said last week, Kyle wants robots, and so you just do what Kyle tells you to do. I think Brock does stuff beyond what Shanahan's asking him to do. And I think that other Jennings throw that he missed over the middle is evidence that he's doing stuff beyond what Kyle wants him to do. I've been saying that, and I think we're going to keep seeing evidence of it. That RG3 is not quite, he might be right about Kyle, but he's not quite right about how Brock fits into Kyle. So then he makes this throw. That's a great throw. Okay. Now remember, how much time came off the clock after the McCaffrey first down run and this play getting snapped? 19 seconds came off the clock from snap to snap. That was a 2-yard run. This is a 20-yard throw from the 40. Actually, the line of scrimmage is the 40. He throws it from like the 45. So it's like a 25-yard throw. Okay. Down to the 20. Actually, it's a 20-yard throw, but he throws it to the 20. So now they got to get down to the 20-yard line. No timeouts. This ball was snapped at 43 seconds. They snapped the next play at 20 seconds. The next snap comes at 20 seconds. So it took them 19 seconds snap to snap on the previous play. It takes them 20 seconds snap to snap on this play. So this goes back to what Debo said. The operation. No timeouts. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to hide. This throw got overlooked when we talk about his deep balls. He throws deep to Ayuk, misses. He throws deep to Debo, misses. But this throw was really good, and this is a long throw. Look at this. This is from his 30. Line of scrimmage was the 20, but this is from the 30. So this is a 30. This ends up being like almost a 40-yard throw. This is from the 30. What throw is this? This was the throw that got the pass interference in the end zone to Debo in the corner. That throw was on target. If he, with pressure in his face, underthrows the ball or overthrows the ball into the end zone, maybe there's no pass interference. If he underthrows it, maybe the DB gets his head around and it's a interception. I doubt it. I don't think the DB is getting his head around and intercepting this ball if it's underthrown. But this throw was on the money to Debo in the corner, and it got Debo to try to make a play on the ball, and it drew the pass interference that got them onto the 1-yard line that, eventually they get points. They score the touchdown. The other thing he did on this drive, remember, was he threw the ball away with 1 second left. And he actually, Sanchez said it and Shanahan said it after the game, put a little too much air under the throwaway. But because they were so good managing the clock on this drive, because they only took 19 seconds between snaps on the play that McCaffrey got a first down, because he nailed the Jennings throw, and then they only take 23 seconds to get the next play off. And they really could have spiked the ball and only taken probably 20 seconds. But they tried to run a play. Ayuk didn't know what to do. And I think Purdy just kind of threw it to get it down and stop the clock. But because they were so efficient moving up the field, they had a second left, or they had 4 seconds left, or whatever. They had the time to sneak the ball in and eventually score the touchdown. And that's what Debo was talking about. And I think that stuff, if you miss some throws, like that deep ball, and both deep balls he missed, I thought missed in the right spot, that can come. Like, I've watched enough of his college tape. I've watched him play enough NFL games. He can hit that throw. As I told you guys throughout going to training camp, they weren't a great deep ball throwing team, but he can throw. But that other stuff is really impressive. Hater here, abstract Joel. The cope here is amazing. Purdy was mid, as he always is. You can thank Debo and McCaffrey for the clutch play. You know, this is where people really struggle. A lot of people really struggle with things being in the gray area. And I always reference Ethan Sherwood Strauss's Warriors book that he wrote. One of the coaches told him one of the things that NBA players are so good at that lower level players really struggle with is playing in the gray area. Most of the sports happens in the gray area. Things that aren't exactly part of the play. The defender isn't exactly where you say. And people in life really struggle in the gray area. Like, they want things to be black or white. You were good or you were bad. You suck or you're great. It's going to work or it won't. But as we know, most of life happens in the gray area. Usually you don't know what's about to happen at halftime of a game. It's not obvious what's about to happen. And it's all gray, and life is about navigating the gray. And so this person here thinks that it can only be one way with Brock Purdy. This person here might not know that we gave him C grades yesterday. C grades, C plus and C minus. I gave him a C plus. John gave him a C minus. It was his worst game as a 49er. And this person here thinks the conversation should end there, that it's impossible for you to do things good in your bad games or for you to do things bad in your good games. But of course, we know that this is a bad take and that this is not true, because that's not how things work. So a lot of times this happens when you're doing, when we talk about stuff, your one comment represents everything. And of course, that's not the case. Brock had the big misses on the touchdowns. He had some inaccurate throws, didn't throw a touchdown, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is true. We gave him C grades. But also, he's got this thing that helps him when you're not at your best. Because guess what? Most of your life, just like most of the games you play, if you play golf, most of the rounds you play, you're not going to be at your best. It's about the whole thing. The whole game we're all playing here is about succeeding when you're not at your best. You got other things in your mind. You got other things going on. You're hungry. You didn't sleep. And you still got to make a play. That's life. That's quarterbacking. It's why we love sports. Is such a reflection of life. And the biggest reflection of life sports is when it's not perfect, you still got to make a play. You don't always get the whole thing to line up. And nobody feels bad for you. Nobody says, you know what? You had 7 other factors today that were a problem. When you're driving a car, the other cars around you are not going to do what you want them to do. Don't get in a crash. Figure it out. Sometimes you do something that should result in a crash and it doesn't. You got lucky that day. So here's Brock, not on his best. And yet when they needed him in this 2-minute drill, he was great. Were McCaffrey and Debo clutch? Hell yeah. Are they the reason you can get away with less than great quarterback play? Yes, that's the point. You don't need Mahomes right now in this moment when you have McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk and Kittle. You check who they still haven't given the ball to. When you have Kyle Shanahan, when you got Trent Williams, when you got Fred Warner, when you got Nick Bosa, when you're on and on and on and on and on. That's the point. That's the point. He doesn't have to be that guy right now. The question with Brock is, will he become that guy? Can he later be that guy? That's what we don't know. We're in the gray area on that one right now. But right now, this second, he doesn't have to be that guy. And Sunday, it was good enough. You don't want it to be that again, right? If he rolls back what he was on Sunday 15 more times, not great. Then he might not be the guy, right? But he did things well and also did things not well. That's the whole deal. I mean, it's not complicated. you can say that was good and that was bad, and nobody goes, "Oh my God, which one was it?" Well, it was both. All right, let's get to some more here. If this is what subpar Purdy looks like, I'm fine with it. Given how Purdy has performed, I think Kyle would take him over most starting quarterbacks with the obvious exceptions. I agree. I think you saw some of that in Kyle's answer. Kyle was basically saying, yeah, the Ayuk one was bad. The Debo one I kind of get. And the Jennings one, no biggie. That's what he was just saying there. You want him later. It's an evolving situation. We could quote, I'm not going to do that. Better to overthrow than underthrow. Yeah, there's a glass half full. And I agree. That's true. I guess. I mean, you could argue the underthrow gives your guy a chance to catch it, right? Karen, he's in the second year, still growing, learning, fantastic, steering the ship, natural. There is a natural quality to him for sure. Grow and execute. He'll be totally fine. Look, I mean, here's what we're talking about right here. Right now, today, in these 20 minutes together, we're talking about the 2-minute drill that was clutch. Yesterday, we talked a lot about the throws he missed that were unclutch. Both things were true. McKivitz so much better this week. Confidence will grow as the game progresses. Well, I'm glad you said that because there's one clip I forgot about actually, and I haven't played yet, but let's get to that right here because this is a pretty great clip. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. So Brock Purdy got asked after the game about the offensive line play. So this is the end of his answer about saying how good the offensive line was. Listen.
There's multiple plays where I was able to go through reads and progressions and hit the number 3 guy and stuff like that. So I thought they did a great job in pass pro.
Again, that's the thing that's hard to find. That's the thing that guys struggle with. He was complimenting the offensive line, but it was also an insight into what makes him different than some other quarterbacks who might struggle, right? Guys who are not NFL starters, which is they gave me time to get through my reads
and hit the number 3 guy and stuff like that. So
and hit the number 3 guy and stuff like that, right? So that is one of his strengths. His strength is not he does what Kyle tells him to do. His strength is he processes very quickly. Right now, you'd say one of his weaknesses is deep ball accuracy, but his strength is, I think, harder to come by, which is he processes quickly. That's what he said. I got to the third guy. I can get to the third guy. They gave me time to get to the third guy, and he can hang in there and do it. So I thought that was an insightful clip from Brock as well. And thank you. I'd forgotten about it until Steven gave McKivitz his flowers. Purdy was excellent. We don't win this without him. I thought Indiana Jim, he was excellent in some areas. I would not say the overall thing was excellent. No, I disagree. I don't think the overall thing was excellent, but he was smart. And he did protect the ball, which Shanahan pointed out. He definitely protected the ball. Sean, what's up, Sean? Long time. I'm still working in the marina. Purdy will get better on his long ball because that's who he is. Relentless on his growth. Be blessed. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for the $5. I got to swing through the marina again soon. Good place. Always still a good place to hang. Sun's out, especially. End of the first half was awesome. Yeah, let's keep an eye on tip balls. If Trey was at QB1 making the same mistakes and getting bailed out by CMC and Debo, the narrative would be much different, says DR. Let me check here. No, that take is bullshit. Were you able to see the notepad for effect? Oh, you weren't. Hold on. I did this. Let me check on that take. Bullshit. If Trey Lance was an undefeated starter for the San Francisco 49ers, we'd be talking about contract extensions. We'd be talking about, is he going to be Mahomes? If just imagine for a second that Trey Lance had not whatever, like he'd been hurt at the beginning of last year, and then he came back, Jimmy gets hurt, and then imagine it happened this way. Trey did get hurt the way he got hurt, but it wasn't that bad. Garoppolo steps in, he gets hurt. Trey comes back. Trey then immediately lights up the Dolphins and the Bucs. and goes on this ridiculous run that results in him taking the Niners to the NFC Championship game before getting hurt. He then battles back from injury, goes on the road and beats the Steelers last week, and then leads that 2-minute drive last night, misses a couple of deep balls, but in the end doesn't turn it over, completes 68% of his passes, and the 49ers win. You are out of your narrative obsessed minds if you think that Trey Lance would not be getting showered in glory if he had just done what Brock Purdy had done. It's insane. Trey would be the toast of the town. You would see number 5 jerseys every single where you looked. You think Brock Purdy's cool because he got a Toyota commercial? You wouldn't be able to see the end of Trey Lance. Nonstop, face of the franchise. It would be unbelievable how much Trey Lance you see. That's an DR, I know you're on the show a lot, so I don't want to hammer you, but that's an incorrect take. I don't think people understand how huge of an offseason star explosion there would have been for Trey Lance had he just done what. Imagine, you remember Trey Lance going to the Super Bowl last year? You remember all the interviews Trey did? They were kind of weird, kind of awkward. I don't blame him, but it wasn't his fault at all. He got asked constantly about this. Imagine Trey Lance had gone to the Super Bowl last year, Radio Row like Debo did, McCaffrey, as the guy that had just led the Niners to the NFC Championship game without losing a game, throwing 2 touchdowns in every game, not throwing picks. He would have been one of the biggest stars at the Super Bowl. So this is such bad revisionist history. Number 3 picks who don't lose starts and don't throw picks and just throw touchdowns become stars immediately. And he'd become a star long before Brock got anything close to star treatment. So nah. Disagree. We could debate all day. And I get to talk, and you only get to do the comment, so I get the advantage. But no. Daniel says, I read it as the opposite. I think he'd be getting more praise, not less. He would be. All right, maybe I misunderstood you, DR. Maybe you're saying Brock should be getting more credit? Now I'm caught up in all the alleged biases. So, DR, if I jumped on you and that's not what you were saying, I still stand by what I said because I do think people think what I interpreted that as. But no. Trey would be getting more hype, not less. Daniel says, Guy, he's saying the opposite. He'd be getting more hype. All right. My bad. I'm sensitive to the narrative. I hate that the narrative conversation drives me up a wall. So, DR, okay. My bad. You think Brock should be getting more credit. All right. As wide receivers like to say, my bad. I just wanted somebody to yell at, it turns out. Somebody needed to hear that, though, if it wasn't you, DR, but there's somebody out there that thinks that. So I'm glad we were able to jump on it. Thank you for your support. And hit that like button. Brock's anticipation were more impressive than his overthrows were bad. Yeah, James, that's where I'm at. I agree with you. I stand by the grade, but I agree with you. Yeah. Lance would never. Cal Bear 949. Big 17-point comeback by the Cal Bears over Idaho this weekend. Idaho's got a receiver. Keep an eye. The draft. Somebody clip this off. When the draft rolls around, there's going to be this receiver coming out of Idaho that's going to go in like the 4th or 5th round. And Daniel Jeremiah's going to be like, I think it's some Cooper Kupp here. His name's Hayden Hatton. Okay. I'm telling you right now, next year, this time, Hayden Hatton's going to have like, not Puka Nacua numbers, but he's going to be shining in the NFL. Like, who is this? Shanahan's going to want Hayden Hatton. I don't know if he's going to be able to get him. Hayden Hatton might be the Juwan Jennings replacement for the 49ers. I'm telling you right now. Somebody clip this off, Right now, if you're watching, let me say it again. I'm going to say it slowly. Hayden Hatton might be the Juwan Jennings replacement for the 49ers. All right, just clip that off and tweet it at me or something. Yeah, well, Torrey Horton, Colorado State's guy. Is it Torrey? Yeah, I think it's Torrey. Is also very good. I had a Colorado State game last year. That guy can ball. Colorado's receivers are really good. Anyway. Matthew. Ayuk not being 100% seemed like it affected Purdy. He trusts Ayuk down the field. Yeah, Shanahan said after the game, he thinks he'll be okay, that it's not that serious. Yeah, Horton from Colorado State, what'd I say? That it's not that serious. So I guess we can be optimistic about it. We'll see what the official is. But, yeah. By the way, where'd that go? Matthew. Go see our guy, Matthew. Unpaid. I just love the spot. Pink. I haven't been in a while, man. I moved out of the city. I haven't been back to Pink Onion Pizza. Order your dinner tonight from Pink Onion. So many great. The tiramisu I remember was good. I mean, you can order the ham. Is the Jimmy G still on the menu, Matthew? The ham pod pizza is still on the menu. You know, we got a lot of new people since I've mentioned this. The pizza's gotten a few reviews, I see. Check this out. You can order, you can call up Matthew tonight, Monday Night Football doubleheader. What a great time. Pink Onion Pizza. Check this out. And there it is. That's the ham pod. John and I created it. Sausage, pepperoni, and jalapenos. Crafted by Haberman and Middlekoauff. Check them out. And there you go. Let me see if we got some pictures of this thing, Matthew. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, all right. This is funny. I like this. Here we go. There it is. There's the ham pod. And Tiffany G, who's probably a listener, probably not, took a beautiful photo of it and said, ham pod. I wonder if anybody knows what it means. And here's Anne, who's there it is, the ham pod pizza. So there you go. That's a great pizza, great pasta. Go check out Matthew at Pink Onion Pizza. I'm telling you about it because I love it. It's good stuff. Haven't been in a while, but that's on me. How about Justin Fields' performance? Not good. Ronnie Bell is the replacement. We'll see. Juwan Jennings does things from a blocking standpoint that are just, because of his size, that are hard to mimic. And Hayden Hatton's like 6'4", I think, 6'3", 6'4". So like a bigger slot is kind of cool, kind of fun. What Jennings is able to do, going to be hard to replace. Let's not forget, Juwan Jennings was a 7th round pick. Also, Cam Ward is massively underrated. Cam Ward's really talented. Because I did the Cal game this week, we get to have meetings with the coaches, and we're sitting down with Jake Spavital, who's Cal's offensive coordinator, and we were just talking through all the quarterbacks. And when I mentioned Cam Ward, he lit up. He's like, yeah, that guy's good. They got a big game. He's got a big test this week. They play Oregon State. They have Oregon State bullied Washington State last year. Bullied them. I mean, it was an eye-opening performance. Jonathan Smith, head coach of the Beavs, been on the show. Jake Dickert, I also like. Early call, Cougs win that game. Early call, Cam Ward's going to outplay DJ Uiagalelei this week. Early call on that. Yeah. Xavier from Colorado is good. Jimmy G pizza's still there. Fan favorite. I'm sure it is. Brock is accurate. That's whatever coach wants. Every quarterback in that draft class besides the Jacksonville one is good. I saw John tweet something yesterday. He's like, can Mac Jones just go a game without throwing a pick? I don't know. I got to check that. Jimmy 2 picks. close quarters. Bottom line, I think most of us are riding with Brock. He's got like 10 games under his belt, a little more than half a season. We're Super Bowl favorites. Watch out when he's in year 4, at least Breeze. He does, and the beauty is, doesn't have, as long as until he gets really expensive, he's going to have all these skill guys around him. If it gets to the point where he's making 40, by that time, $50 million a year, because let's say you've won a you've won championships, he's playing really well, he doesn't throw picks, then you lose your star players around you, and then you go, okay, have you evolved into the guy that can elevate some of these guys around you? Washington's going to be brutal. Oh, that's who Cal plays this week. Tough game. Why do we assume he'll be Breeze? I think he's a short white guy without a strong arm. That's the comp. Just like my guy Hayden Hatton's his comp's gonna be Cooper Kupp. It's just these comps. John and I used to joke. We still do. We don't talk. I haven't given the line in a while, but sometimes these comps is like, well, give me a cross-racial comp. Give me somebody else who doesn't just appear to look. His appearance isn't the same as that guy who he's a comp as. But it's hard. There's only so many really excellent quarterbacks. So your comps are a physical profile. Thank you. That's what we're calling that. Tough penalty on Jennings. Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a hit. We've had a few of those. Colorado had one of those. Colorado State, one of those guys. So you get a few of those. But the Niners get that. I mean, Jennings blocks like he could play linebacker for the 49ers. These guys all have the same temperament and mentality, which is just, to use John's favorite phrase, war daddy. We'll see if Ronnie Bell got snaps yesterday. We'll see if he's got that too. But for now, it is crazy when you think about, when you're really like watching it unfold, right? To go from a Sunday to a Thursday game, it's just a quick turn. I was watching Nick Bosa's post game, and he said, there's some things I need to get better at, but it's going to be tough to get better at them by Thursday. In other words, Nick is saying, there are things that every week I get. Nick Bosa basically said, every week I get better. This week is a little more challenging because we play on a Thursday. But to me, the interesting part was him basically saying every single week, I get better. And what he didn't say, but the reason is because I practice so hard and I practice with intent. Anyone that, if you ever go to the driving range, you can waste hours and years and buckets of balls at the driving range just banging balls with no purpose. Once you have a purpose, hitting golf balls on the driving range becomes, I think, a lot more fun because you're actually trying to do a single thing. If you know what you're trying, if you've kind of gotten the instruction and you understand, or you naturally know maybe what it is you're trying to accomplish. And Bosa clearly practices with a purpose because he believes that he gets better every week. So anyway, all right. Thanks for hanging, everybody. A quick Monday morning, or not so quick, but a Monday morning chat. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Kittle did have a big smile on his face after that Jennings block. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Tito's handmade vodka. However you like to drink it. Look, yesterday's show, we did not buy a drink. We did not buy a Tito's for Brock. He got the C grade. Today, though, on the 2-minute drill, a Tito's for Brock. A Tito's for Brock today. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging, and we'll talk to you soon. Hit that like button on your way out the door. Later.